All right, we are live, I believe. Welcome, everyone. My name is Dragon Skies. I am a game developer, a dragon enthusiast, and a Christian, and we are now going to get the music started because that is mildly important. Okay, so it's been a little while since I've gotten back onto this project. I've been looking into modding one of my favorite games as of right now called Slay the Spire 2. And I have a dragon mod I'm working on, which I might give more details for in the future if there's enough interest. But for now, we're going to go ahead back into the game's Afoot, which is our current game in development, and we're going to fix a couple of things that have been, to say the very least, causing problems, and then also working on our combat system and also our level up system, because those are two things that have been neglected in our previous prototype. So, let's just jump right into it and do a quick playthrough to kind of get our footing and everything. So, the most important scene here is the manor's interior, since this is where things are actually going to happen. The outside is more of like a reception area. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and quote out some stuff down here so I can have better visibility. To start, the combat system. So, just to start out, what are we looking to accomplish, right? So we have our enemies, we support multiple of them, which is good. We have an attack system, although the animations are whack. Honestly, we're gonna have to do a lot of like a UI overhaul. But we have selection and we have the ability to run up and start an attack. But our current button situation is really hard to meet. It's hard to get a good block and it's hard to tell if you've blocked. And that's a problem, because most of the people who are playing this game are casual. They're not like me, where I'm obsessively playing it every single time I need to test something. So, what do? I think the first move here is to fix some issues that are going on with the game outside of the combat system, like the Nostal just teleporting wherever we go. And then the second half will be starting to work on our quick time actions. So, to solve the Nostal teleportation problem, we're just gonna give the partner a quick script, to be honest. I don't really feel like we need to do too much. We're just gonna go into void start, which means this script runs at the start of the game. And I'm gonna pull this up all the way. And transform dot position is equal to, and we're looking for the player position recorder dot transform dot position. And all that this is going to do is it's going to relocate the player to be somewhat closer to our partner. Well, actually vice versa. The partner is going to be located next to the player. So with that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and give this a try. Ideally, the player's going to start over there. Partner's going to start right next to him. And if this problem fixes itself immediately, honestly, we don't have much else we really need to do. Yeah, it fixed itself immediately. Cool. So, other than that, we're also going to add a music manager at some point, but that's not what we're working on right now. So let's go into the World Zero combat, and this is our kind of like test combat scene. And yeah, we're going to revisit our real-time action system here. And the real-time actions are, if you start the game, they're the buttons that show up whenever you start fighting. We need to make them more obvious, easier to read, because right now, consistently, whoever playtests this game struggles to match the times correctly. Especially with these fast attacks, where the Meese just charge up, deal 2 damage if you don't happen to click it in the millisecond of. Alright, we're gonna punch this guy. Block. Of course, it's not the only issue with the combat system we're going to address, but we're starting here. So, the J's and the K's. I'm thinking, when it comes to the, I'm just going to drop over here, open up my web browser here, and we're going to look up Dead as Disco. Dead as Disco or not, because I feel like that game has some copyright stuff I need to be careful of. What other game demonstrates this pretty well? Well, let's see. Real-time action, or is it quick-time action? games. Okay, let's see if we can't find something that demonstrates what we're looking at here. We're looking for something similar to this, but we want the idea of hitting the button to be matched with like a ring or something to like almost give you a hint as to when you need to press the button. So, although with the pixel art game, I would actually want to avoid a style that is too rounded, because, you know, duh, we're talking about pixel art here. So what we're going to do first is we're going to hop into Sprite and actually design our buttons here. And of course, I think that we already have the buttons inside of our game that we can just open up separately, so let's just do that to save ourselves some trouble. And hop into UI, and we're looking at JSheet. And we're not going to want to open it in preview. Let's go ahead and show and explore, and open with Sprite. Cool. Now, Expedition 33 has got good at QuickTime events. Honestly, might be worth taking a look at. I've never played it thus far. Images. So, honestly, we need something visual, more visual than this, because this is not actually showing the motion here. Good game. Honestly, I'll try it sometime soon. I've been wanting to get more Steam games going since lately I've just been obsessively modding Slay the Spire. So, and I mean, it's fun, but like, you gotta expand our... I need to play more games like what I'm trying to make, right? Let's see... No, I don't want to watch someone else's video. I could get copyright stricken. Ah! Screw it! I'm gonna take your word for it. It has the ring that shows the timing and then the button on the side. I'll leave it at that. But I have an idea of something that we can do for this specifically. If we open up our canvas and we're going to extend this a little bit, times 2 and times 2, and we'll just anchor everything up here. We could do something like this, where we create a box, right? And we want the box not to be too big. We want it to maybe be like... We'll take a couple pixels off of each side. Boink, boink. Okay, and we're also going to take off this slash, and this slash, and this, and this. Perfect. And what we're going to do is we're going to then create a frame for this guy. And in order to do that, we're just going to highlight this entire chunk and use Shift O, which will create an outline. And of course, we're going to use black, at least for now. Apply it. Why did it create two? I don't know. And final thing, we erase the inside. And I'm feeling like we also downsize this slightly. And just to see if it works, put it on the inside. So the idea is that this button would scroll into the middle here to give you an idea of when you need to press the button. And we're not going to want to color anything here, because we can do all that in the Unity editor. It's not that complicated. Now, this looks off, but there we go. And we just draw the letter. This is not an incredibly sustainable way to do this, so we will have to eventually switch. But right now it's functionality over fanciness, so to speak. Man, it's kind of weird working on my own code again. Because I've been doing so much modding in the past few days with Slay the Spire, it's like, it's in the same programming language, so it's not that complicated, right? I'm used to this, but before I was working with someone else's code. Now it's just like, now we're back to doing what I'm used to doing, and it's like, in a way it's harder because like I have to actually have the brain cells to do things, which I don't have the brain cells to do things. But in a way it's nice because I could also do what I want to do instead of having to work along someone else's framework. So I don't know. Do we want to upsize this? That's the question. I feel like we could probably. I mean, it's not going to look perfect, but okay, the frame would look like that, and the J button would look like this. Yeah. Now, if I open up Unity, this J sheet should have been adjusted. Now we're gonna have to re-import everything differently and whatever, but that's fine. Put this here, put this here. And we're gonna want to then select the boundaries for our button outline and our button here too. And now that I think about it, I'm going to want to make sure that these two have similar outlines. Good. I have a cat in the background that's just like tearing apart my room. And at this point, I've kind of given up on trying to control him. He does what he wants. And as long as he doesn't mess with my code, we get along. It's kind of funny, to be honest. But okay. So we have our buttons ready for that. But today we want to do two things. Whenever damage is applied, we want to show the damage number to the creature that just took the damage, so that you have the satisfaction of, oh gosh, like, we did something, right? Instead of just taking my word for it, you know, oh, it probably hit hard, whatever. So I'm going to create a damage visualization manager here. And this guy's job is to create particles that demonstrate the degree of damage. And we're going to need this into the same thing. And this is going to go in, we have to make sure that it goes in a folder that makes sense, otherwise I'll just lose it. Which I am known to lose scripts, that I have too many of them. In the end, I actually might have to rewrite all of this, but we don't worry about that, because I would probably lose my mind if I started worrying about rewriting the entire game. See, that's the hard part about game design. It's like you do it the first time through, and then it's not enough, or it's too complicated, and you have to try it all again from the start. Which is why a small scope is so important. Because if you have too much going on, you're going to have to keep on redoing and redoing until you drive yourself insane, whereas with a smaller project you could get away with a lot more. So this is going to be a singleton because I lazily use those. Singletons are really special scripts in Unity, right? And it's going, what these things do, right, is they, in Unity, you know, if you want to do something, you have to get a reference to a script, right? If I wanted to change the color of an object, I would have to use serialized field, private, sprite renderer. Sprite is equal to get you know, I have to do all of this stuff, or maybe I would just leave it there. And then afterwards I would have to like then call it under that same name in like awake or something. Not awaitable. I said awake. I don't even use awaitable. And I would have to say like sprite dot color is equal to new color, and then I would have to like define it. You know, it's just it's a hassle to get all of these references, especially when you have to get a ton of them. But if there's one single sprite renderer in my entire game that I need to worry about, which this is a hypothetical and a half, I could do something special with it. But there's only going to be one damage visualization manager active at a time, which is why I'm able to use it as a singleton. And so I'm going to describe what it does really quick. Shows damage numbers when damage is given. So we now know there's only one of these guys active at a time, and it shows damage numbers when damage is given. So I don't want every single time I do damage to have to get a reference to this damage visualization manager. I just want to be able to say, make the damage visualization manager do this. Right? I don't want the hassle. I just want to get it done. So I'm going to define a public static, which means static is a keyword here. Static means that there's only one of these active at a time, and that anyone can access it from anywhere. So I'm defining a public static damage visualization manager, calling it current. And what this does, now we have a version of this manager that anyone can access from anywhere. So, and in the script awake, this is the second half of making a singleton. If current is equal to null, and I'm going to make this double equal so it's a comparison and not a definition. If there is not currently a damage visualization manager that is active, then, well, the current damage visualization manager is equal to this. In other words, if no one is doing the visualization, this script takes over. That's all. It's all it's saying. And from there, if I write a public script called Hello World because I'm a programmer and I'm lazy. Normally, if I wanted to access this script, I would have to get references, you know? But in partner follow, the point is that this is a different script. It doesn't matter which one it is. I can call damage visualization manager dot current dot, and what do you know? Hello World comes up. I can access the script without getting a reference. And that's what makes singletons so powerful. It's that they make it easy to do repetitive tasks that a single script takes care of from anywhere. You don't have to do the reference thing. So let's make a script called show damage number. Int number, and let's say vector 2 position. Cool. And now we have a script that's, and it doesn't matter if we have these extra things in here, you can still access it from anywhere. So if I do the same thing that I did earlier, right? If I go here into another script and say damage visualization manager dot current dot, and then we're gonna find our function. I forgot the name already. Show damage number. I could add an int, let's say 5, and then vector 2 position, we're going to say, I don't know, vector 2.0 or something. But the point here isn't that, the point is that you can do it from anywhere. Doesn't matter how many parameters it has, it doesn't matter what it does. If a single script is doing something, you want anyone to access it, a singleton is almost always the correct answer. So, what do we need to make a damage number pop up, right? We need a damage number first. So let's go ahead and create a game object, I guess, for that. So I'm going to create a empty, call it damage number, and I'm going to give it the script damage number, right? It's just pretty easy stuff. I'm not doing anything complicated here. And I'll put it into the combat scripts because it's part of combat. And then I'll throw this down. I'm going to delete everything on the inside because no one cares. And I'm going to go into Unity and apply a text object to it, right? Now, let's just go ahead and take a look at what this looks like here. I'm going to zoom it in, and let's see, where's the origin? This is the origin. In that case, I kind of want the parameters to be like around the origin. like this. And let's put in an example number, 1. Now, clearly that's too large. So let's do 5. If I go into the game view, let's see what that looks like. 8. Let's do 7. It's probably not perfect, but we just want to make sure it works, right? So the number text object is ready. And I'm just going to set this to empty. Well, actually, first off, let's actually format it correctly. So we put it in the middle. And let's see here. And if I show that, yeah, the number is perfectly centered now. Perfect. Cool. Now, moving on. We're done. I'm going to delete the 1, and we're going to go back into our damage number script. We're going to get a reference to our text mesh pro. Well, actually, first off, we should import. Yeah, we're going to get a reference to our text and call it text. And one other thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to give this script a rigid body 2D. And this is so that we can make it kind of like fall off of the player when you get hit. So I feel like that would be funny. So let's just, we're going to freeze the rotation. I don't see why we would want that to rotate. Although rotation could be funny, never mind, we're keeping it. And we'll test all of the details on this later. I feel like we don't really need to do anything with that yet. So now I'm going to go back into the script. We have our rigid body ready. So we're also going to want a reference to that. And the reason I don't turn these into singletons is because there are a lot of text objects in my game and a lot of rigid bodies. To create a singleton of these just doesn't make sense because I need to know which one specifically we're talking about, whereas there will only be one damage visualization manager in the game. So I'm going to use the boring old way with these guys. Text is equal to get component. EMP text. And then our rigid body 2D is equal to get component rigid body 2D. Why do they call it rigid body? That doesn't make sense to me at all. Like, what inspired someone to make up that name? I don't know. And what's a mesh? Like, okay, here's the thing. I know functionally what these things are, but sometimes I just get so caught up in why the heck is it named like that? Like, this is not even, they're not even trying to make it into plain English. Like, what do you... I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just like, I am a nerd, and I understand these things, but I don't understand why, I guess is the best way to say it. But, anyway, we're going to create a public void initialize, so that we can initialize this text to where we want it. And I'm going to want to int number to show, and then I think that's it actually. So text dot number, well, if text dot text is equal to number to show, and it's throwing an error because you can't convert an integer to a string. They're two different things, so I'll just say like dot to string if they have that. And we're good. And I'm also going to want to say rigid body 2D dot linear velocity is equal to new vector 2. And we're going to say random dot range negative 0.1, 0.1. And we're going to want to give them an F because we're going to be as picky. And maybe 1. But I want all of this to be customizable, so we're actually going to create a field here. Serialized field, private, and we're going to call it float, and we're going to name it upwards bounce. And then we're gonna have a second float called private float drift range. And then I'm gonna say this is equal to 0.3f, and drift range is equal to 0.1f. Man, I'm kind of glad to be back in Unity, to be honest. I was working in Godot in order to work on Slay the Spire, and it's scary. Nothing worked the way I was used to, and I was just like, I felt like I was learning Unity all over again. Alright, and the final thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to create a public void self-destruct. And it's going to destroy this dot object. And I guess then this is redundant, I guess. We'll just do that. What else? So now we're just gonna have to work in the animator briefly. So of course when this thing pops up, the animator is just gonna be responsible for making it vanish after a little while. So we're gonna go to animations, UI, and I'm gonna create a new folder called combat. And we're gonna create an animator called damage number. And this damage number is gonna go inside of, guess what, the damage number animator. And of course we're gonna only need one single animation that plays on start. So let's take care of that. We're gonna go to assets, animations, combat. Well, actually animations, UI combat, that's confusing. And we're going to create the damage number animation. So what we're going to want to do for testing this is we're going to want to actually visualize our damage briefly. And we're going to want to animate our text opacity if we can. We're setting the color to this for the start, and then at 10 we're setting it to something closer to invisible. And once it hits invisible, we're going to create an event that ties into, why does it not tie into, okay, I'm a little confused because I should be able to access the damage number script. Have I not saved it? We're removing this and going to reinsert it because for some reason it's not working. My cat's destroying my room, don't worry about it. Okay, but I'm concerned because it's not showing the damage number as a part of the game. In fact, it's not treating it like it exists. Is there a bug I haven't fixed? Ah, here it is. I'm going to get rid of this, and that's not going to throw any more errors, so I think that should fix it. Thank you for reloading your domain, Unity. I appreciate it as always. Alright, now we're going to hop down and add the damage number script, finally. And everything is set. So when I go to this animation event, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to say text mesh pro, or damage number actually, dot self-destruct. And it lasts for not really long enough to see anything, so we're going to set the speed to like 10, or actually 25. 20. Okay, cool. We're going to say that's good. So we're going to want to save this as a prefab because it doesn't actually exist at the start of the game. It's created by another script. So, And prefabs are like kind of blueprints that you could copy infinite versions of a game object from. So I'm going to create a folder here called UI. Oh, not UI, actually. We're looking at combat, for combat UI. And I'm going to drag the damage number just down into here and delete. And now with the damage visualization manager, now this is where we get to have some fun. Transform.position is equal to position. In other words, it's going to go to the position of where the damage is being given. And then the next thing that I'm going to need is a serialized field reference to our damage number. And I'm going to say damage number is equal to instantiate, because Unity uses instantiate instead of new. And it's giving me an error. Okay, we are having a problem there. I'm not exactly sure why. Okay, so we have to start on the game object. That's unfortunate, but we can work with it. Get component, and then we're going to get the component damage number dot init, and then the number to show will be number. After that, we can basically just leave it to do its thing. But what's going to call the show damage? Let's try the attack manager. Let's see if it... Let's see. Doesn't look like the attack manager actually does damage here. What causes the damage transfer? I'm not exactly sure. Let me see here. Can we find one of the player attacks and see what they do? Okay, so the unit itself takes care of it. So it's unit data. Okay, so it looks like this is the script. Okay. I'm a little bit confused. We're gonna have to like kind of follow and see what this is saying. So the script here is, it looks like the unit itself handles its own damage, which is interesting. But we can work with it. So damage is the base damage. The actual damage taken is equal to the base damage minus temporary defense and base defense. So in other words, we want to use damage visualization number, or damage visualization manager dot current dot show damage number, and then we're going to want to use the number damage minus temporary defense minus unit stats dot defense dot transform dot position. Now let's see what this does. Ideally, this should just work. Which, that's optimistic to say the least, but we're gonna give it a go. And then afterwards, I'm gonna grab myself some brownies as a break, and then come back in about 3 minutes. But, hit. Okay, we immediately have a problem. the variable damage number of damage visualization manager has not been assigned. And that makes sense. So prefaps, we're going to go down to combat UI and drag this into the game under. Alright, and now when we hit, and there's a problem. So we have the numbers instantiated, but they're not actually doing what we want here. So let's go ahead and do some wild stuff. What do you think? Let's just say that we give it a range of like 2 high and 1 drift. Make it funny. And afterwards we'll take care of fixing everything. Okay, it still is barely moving, so let's fix that. I'm going to go into here and let's do something that's just wild, right? See what it looks like if we do, say, like 10 and 5. Watch it just vanish off the screen. Dang, it just flew off. Okay, one thing I'm noticing is I wish that the animation was slower to disappear. So let's fix that. Pull this back. Yeah, let's do that. And clearly the amount earlier was far too much, so let's do like 7 and 4. We want to have enough bounce that it's interesting, but we don't want to have so much that it flies off the screen. The player should be able to see it. So just going into game view so we can get the full experience here. So one thing I'm noticing immediately is this number needs to take the front. We need to be able to see it no matter where we're at. So let's see what we can do with that. So we're going to want this to go above everything else. Is there a setting for that? Sorting layer, yes there is. Overlay, and we'll set that to like 1 billion because we do not want it to anything to be above it. Next thing, I feel like it could do a lot more as far as going in a certain direction. So let's give it a drift range of like 10. Because it's not guaranteed to go sideways at times to 10. It's just guaranteed to go within that range. There we go. And it demonstrates whatever damage is actually dealt. But the problem is whenever we hit the player, it doesn't actually hit the player, which is not good. So we're going to do a couple of things here. We're going to increase the gravity scale on this thing to like 1.8. And we're also going to see what the heck is happening in our script. So whenever we deal damage, we want it to go to this dot transform dot position, but the script in question is for some reason not working. I'm not exactly sure why it's not working though, because like the thing is, whenever the player's attacking someone, should attack the enemy itself. Let's double check this. So the moose clone, let's just say I attack the second moose. The second moose has a unit data, but like, let's see where that is. So let's just double check. It's anchored to the middle of the moose, right? It's there. It's right there. So let's go and slap him up. Hold on. Notice something here? Arguably, it's doing damage based on the original position of the character who's doing the attack. Is it because deal damage is meant to deal damage to another enemy? Well, let's just see. So, we're targeting the... Man, what the heck? Let's just play it one more time through. We're gonna go ahead and slap up the second guy to visualize further. It really is just targeting the units. The numbers are popping up by the units who are attacking, not the units that are being attacked. And something else that's good to mention is that the numbers are always flying in a single direction, from what I can see, but man. Alright, I'm gonna grab a break to grab some brownies, so I'll be back in about 10 minutes. I promise I will get a stream paused thing probably eventually. But in the meantime, here's some Minecraft cool, you guys' I don't know, calm your bones. I don't know. There's no good way to say that. Anyway, see you guys shortly. We're back. I have no ideas, but I do have a brownie, so all hope is not lost. Alright. Focusing on the issue at hand, I have no idea why the heck we're seeing problems from this end. From my knowledge, the script that's calling the damage itself is the script that's attached to the monster that's being damaged, so by all means it should work. But that's what testing's for. I'm going to call it debug.log, and we're going to say damage visualized or plus this dot game object dot name plus with parent plus transform dot parent dot object. So this should tell us what's going on, like what actually is happening. So play. And attack. So, checking the console. It seems like things matched up because the last piece of damage was dealt to the player. So let's just see where the player is on this hierarchy. Where is the player? Okay, there's the player. The player's position is right there. There's really no reason why he shouldn't have taken damage. Well, maybe the next best thing that we can do is visualize where the visualization manager is going for each of these attacks. Wait. Let's try something. Why is it? What the heck? Okay, hold on. Does it shoot slightly to the right? No, it shoots slightly to the what? Huh? What? No. Why? Okay, hold on. What if let's try and fix something actually. Hold on. With the initialize, we're going to want to actually take a vector 2 for where it should go. Let's just have it manually go where it has to go. Like, why would we... If there's a problem, it will come up here. Now we just need to make this give it a position. Let's try this. Ooh, banger song. Alright, so hopping into the game view, the ideal now is that the numbers show up where they're supposed to. Of course, the ideal is almost never the reality when it comes to game design, but we don't talk about that. Okay, so the damage makes sense there. It makes a lot of sense there. And it makes a ton of sense there, too. Okay, hold on. Let's do one last test. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, let's go. And let's also give it an offset. And then let's just make it go up slightly up. Times 0.8f. Okay, hopping into the game. Let's see what this looks like. Alright, punch this guy. Alright, block. Guys, I think it's working. Okay, blocked it off. Punch. It's working. Okay, the final thing I'm gonna do. It should not be flying that much. I know we said we were getting wild, but like 10 is way too much of a drift range. We're gonna set it to 6. Okay. Game view. Attack. Sure, you can. Block. We're gonna block one more time. And I think that this is exactly what I want it to look like. Punch. Block. Punch. And I die, but that's fine. Because it works! It works! Woohoo! Okay, that took way too long, but we figured it out, so that's good. So we have a way of visualizing damage, that's cool. But we have the previous problem of the it's really hard to hit the button presses at the right time. If you check out the current prototype, we do see a lot of that kind of stuff going on, where you have to like kind of know the timing in order for it to like land correctly. I have an idea. Hang on. I have a really good idea. Maybe we don't need to change the button system altogether. Maybe all we need to do is give the player slightly more time to read it, and then a confirmation that they did it well. I have a great idea. Hold on. What's our screen size? Okay, hold on. The camera is 1 unit per one number for the size. So the orthographic size is, oh wait, there's no way it's just 5 units live. Let's just measure it out with our top palette, because I have a good idea. Trust, chat, trust. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. About 20 wide, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 tall. 20 by 11 times 32. I have an idea. What if we drew like a crowd that kind of like pops up every single time you get a good, like a really good read or something like that? Okay, no, Jude. No, I can't act, no, because I have artists that are supposed to be... Well, in that case, let's go ahead and ask them. Da peeps. And anyone... Cool. Professional communication with your artist is very important in order to maintain a healthy work environment. I'm totally joking. Just do whatever the heck you got. We're not even professionals, man. We're just... Well, I guess there's some degree of professionalism because we're not just ditching the project, but like... At the same time, it's mostly for kind of... Maybe for fun. Kinda. Not really. Screw it. We're getting back into it. So, even if we're not going to do the crowd thing yet, I think that we still need to make it so the button confirmations are rewarding. So, one thing that we can do is make a sound, but that's not something I'm going to do during a music stream. And the other thing that we could do is create, like, a particle. Can we create a second sprite renderer? We cannot. So, let's go ahead and... We're going to go back into A-Sprite, and instead of doing something wildly complicated, we're actually just going to delete both of these. And we want to create like a quote-unquote ring that like comes out whenever you correctly time something. So I'm just going to color all of this like straight up white. We want to have like full control over the color of this thing. Then we hop into A-Sprite, or, sorry, Unity. Unity, A-Sprite, it's all the same thing, right? Tomato, tomato. Not really. Alright, and then we hop into art. And what we're wanting to do is turn this thing that I just made into like a green ring that shoots out whenever you do it right. Makes you be like, oh boy, I got a prize! Or something like that, I don't know. I'm only a part-time gamer, not a full-time one. So we're going to do this, and we're going to try and make it match sizes as best we can. Cool, and I'm going to just delete, and we're good. I just finished my brownie, and now I'm sad, but at the same time we figured stuff out, so it did its job. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, first off, fix the... Every single time I add a new sprite, it breaks the tile map for no reason. I don't get it. So we fixed that, and we're going to go ahead and hop into our offense button and give it a child. A child object, not an actual child, just, no. And we're just going to name it ring, and we're going to drop this into there. Okay, actually, I guess I can just drag this onto here. So I want the ring to line up with the button. And when it's enabled, it's going to like kind of like expand. Or what if we did like particles instead? I'm just going to spitball here. We're going to use 2D physics. And I want to use like a square. So, let's see. Surely I have in my art a particles area, right? Surely. Surely I didn't space on this. Why is the particles... Why? Who put the particle? It's fine. It's fine. It's just focus on the thing. So the offense button. Let's just see what we can do here. if we hit the button correctly, I want to kind of like pop. So this does not repeat. It's not looping. Let's say, I'd say that's too long. Barely. Let's do it 0.75. 0.74. Just 0.75 was fine. The start size, let's do like 0.15. Nothing too big. And let's make the emission faster. 200! Okay, that's way too much. Let's do 0.25 then for the length. Okay, that works. We're gonna set the gravity modifier to like this. And I do feel like it should shoot out faster, so let's do 9. Ooh, and maybe it could be like confetti. Hold on. And let's make a gradient here. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And then back to red. Okay. Okay, and now if we play it, it's still giving us this default, like, weird purple thing, which is strange to say the very least. So let's give it a material here. Lit. Let's do default. Default material for some reason makes it invisible unless we have this set wrong. Yeah, no, it's just making it invisible, so let's fix that up by giving it a different. So if I use the editor, let's see what it looks like. Immediate problem. Immediate problem. So there's a range here. It's not starting from the center. So that's an obvious problem. Let's go into shape and fix that. Set the radius to 0. And we'll set the offset Y to a little bit. And color over lifetime. I don't want it to switch to any different color. Hopefully it's multiply, so let's see what that looks like. Oh my gosh. Okay, the lifetime is way too long, so let's set this to 1.2. And that's too short. So let's put this to 0.84, maybe? Open editor, play. it. Now I feel like it's shooting too much, but we're getting closer. So let's set this to like 85. Okay. For the sake of testing, we'll keep this. And we don't want it to play on awake. Now I'm going to go down to the button. And we're going to want to get a reference to a particle system. In awake, we're going to get the reference. Particles is equal to get component particles system. And okay, so, but how do we make it so it triggers the thing? Okay, let's double check this. And so if the particles exist and if they're not playing, then we're going to play them. And let's just see if this works. Of course, I'm going to want to copy the particle system over to the other side. The defense button. Assuming everything's right, which we don't want it to have play on awake, and it looks so doesn't. Play when we start the game, we only want it to play when it actually does its stuff. And let's see if this works. Now, problem, we want the particles to continue after the object is disabled. So the simulation space will be world. And we want the computer to treat it as its own thing. But we're just going to start with this. If we set it to world, does it improve anything? Not really. Doesn't really treat it as its own thing, which is unfortunate. So, how to make particles continue after particle emitter is disabled in Unity. The big thing about Unity, that's probably why I... Oh. So it looks like if you disable it, the particles just go away, but I feel like there must be a better way. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. This is the boring part where I start looking through logs to take care of. I have one idea. Instead of disabling or enabling the button, let's disable/enable the renderer. So let's create a private pool. Button is active is equal to false. And if the button is active, then all of this happens. And now we just set all of this here. But if the button is not active, if the button is enabled, we show everything else. We hide everything. So right enabled is equal to false. And the final thing that we have to do is we have to make it so that whatever is enabling and disabling the button doesn't do so by enabling or disabling the entire thing, but rather through the script. And how are we going to do that? I have no idea, but we've always been very good at improvising. The input icon library, that's how. So, who all references this, I guess? I feel like we need to change something here. So instead of whatever we were doing there, let's make it so we have a custom function here. So we're going to enable the defense button. And when we do that, we're not actually enabling the button. And so we're actually accessing our real-time event button. Hang on. We're using a function called public void set button active, bool active, dang it, I'm locked in again. This is my least favorite part about the Brainiac coding stuff. Because then I stop talking to people like a normal human being and start locking in. And it's great because I get stuff done, but it's bad because you have to be able to talk to people about stuff, you know? Otherwise it gets boring. It's not only for me, but for other people, you know? It's the whole thing about game design with me is it's never been about doing brainiac-y things. It's always been more about making fun games and stories for other people. So it's like, I don't know. It gets hard when I'm streaming, because streaming for me has always been about self-discipline. More so than like, I don't know. More so than getting a following. But like, I'm not wired just to be productive, I guess. So we're going to disable the offense button. So we're going to disable the offense button here. And we're going to make sure that we're actually referencing the correct button here. And what else here? I think that's good for now. What we want to do now is go into the scripts that reference the buttons themselves. And that's going to be referenced in the input icon library references, which are the Meese input readers. You have to be careful with this. Enable defense button. Yeah. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're just making it so that we're not hard switching the state of the button. We're using a middleman script that we can easily control, so that way we can make it adjustments as we need to. So I'm going to hop into the input icon library and find the other script that references it. That would be here. There we go. So now we're going to enable the offense button through here. And I'm going to go here. And we're going to do that same thing there. So we're going to disable it. Right, and we should be good. Now let's try this. I'm dead already. What do you want from me? Okay, problem. The problem here is the offense button is currently enabled at the start. We don't want that. Wait, we do want that actually. Hold on. We want both of them enabled. Time out. Because we're not working anymore with a system that enables and disables them. We're working with a system that wants them to stay active. Okay, they're still getting disabled though. What is this? Okay, let's go back into the scripts. If it reloads here, we know something's going right, but if it doesn't... Yeah, no. For some reason, something is disabling the buttons, like hard disabling them, which is not what we want here. Let's take a look here. So it looks like right now, everything that's going through the input icon library is just taking care of disabling the sprite renderer, which is exactly what we want, but for some reason there's another script that's messing with these buttons and making them actually like totally turn off so that the particle system isn't working. Because like we want to be able to see the rewarding confetti whenever you get the right timing, but see like that. Because that feels very nice, but for some reason with the J button specifically, it's interrupted in the middle. I really like this. Oh my gosh, I'm excited to apply like better animations to the characters here. It's functional, but I feel like we're not done yet. So let's see here. What is causing the offense button to be forcibly disabled here? Let's see what references the offense button. Nothing there. This is a bit of a puzzle because it seems like everything is working correctly from one end, but on this end it's what is disabling you? Well, let's think about it. What would be able to disable the offense button? The player script, the player attack. So that would be here. And if I save it, and go into Unity, ideally, it's going to reload everything, but it's not, which is concerning, to say the very least. Let's give it one more go. I can't. What is disabling this button? Why is it? I'm genuinely confused at this point. Because it's like everything that could possibly be referencing it is just not. You should not be able to disable these. I don't know. References. Seems like, okay, maybe it's not a code thing. Let's go to the player and see what he's doing in his animations. Disable input reader. Okay, it's calling a script called disable input reader. That could be part of it. But where is that script and why is it doing that? This anymore. Input icon library.current enable offense button, disable offense button. But those aren't the same scripts though. In the unit data maybe? I mean, hopefully. Let's check it out, I guess. Nope, not there. I do not want to have Godot open right now, thank you. The detective punch attack? Nope. Unit animation portal? I refuse to believe that's the script that's causing this problem. It doesn't even have anything to do with it. Oh, wait. Why does it have a reference to game object? Hold on. Why does it have a reference to the input icon? Let's save this, see if it changes anything. I'm not exactly sure why. Hold on. The only reference it has is to the input action reference. It shouldn't have an action to the button. Why? What the heck? Is it just refusing to load? That is weird. Hold on. Because... is there a way for me to reload the scene? Let's try. Going here. Assets, import package, import new asset. My cat is sitting on my keyboard, so if you get stuff on your chat, that is why. Just ignore. Refresh. Re-import all. Man, okay, I don't like what it's doing. Oh, kitty. And my cat is here for moral support. He knew that I was struggling with a bug. And he came for snuggles. Hi. But genuinely, like, what's weird about this is that the input icon here that it's quote-unquote referencing should not even be possible because the script itself is not calling for it. Which just... that doesn't add up at all. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to X out of this and reopen it because I think there is a Unity problem that needs to be addressed. Because it's not a scripting problem. If it was a scripting problem, I would be able to debug it. Alright, so let's go back into there, see what happens. That will be in the player's scripts, underneath player position. It still has a reference to the punch button, the offense button. On reader enabled. Idea. What if it's the real-time action input that has the reference? Yes, there it is! It's not a problem, it's inheritance. Okay, I got it. So, how do we then fix that? We don't want the input icon at all. Get rid of all references to that, because this script is no longer taking care of it. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and hop into here. And if I start it, it should work. And attack. Shoryuken. There we go. Yeah, that's exactly what we're looking for. so here's what we got so far. For our combat, we take damage. When we give damage, confetti and a number indicator, which seems pretty small, but it's actually very peak. Alright, so I think that this is a good build angle then. We're gonna go ahead and rebuild this project and repost it as a hotfix for the server, just to prove that we're not dead. But yeah, thank you guys for hopping on the stream. I'm probably gonna post some about some Slay the Spire modding I've been doing recently. I think that'd be really fun. And yeah, thank you guys for hopping onto the stream. I hope to do this every single Monday and Wednesday at 4 Mountain Standard. And I would love y'all to join us as often as you please. Eventually, maybe this will become a more serious thing than just me holding myself accountable, but only if God gives me the skills I need to get into marketing and social media. So, who knows? But hey, talk to you guys later. Have a good one. God bless. Happy gaming.